The truth.
Okay. Truth, yes it can, right? Everyone says, I know my truth. Yeah. That's the biggest bullshit anyone can fucking say. How do you know your truth? Because my truth at 21 is different than my truth at 24. It's different than my truth at 30. It's different than my truth at 40 now. There's only one truth. And for me, it's in here. This is the only truth. But you're right. Opinions are truth. Anybody else want to take a jab at it?
Oh, Pontius Pilate said to Jesus, what is truth?
Okay.
I don't know. That was
Jesus answered, I am the truth, I am the light, and I am the way, and the only way to the Father is through me.
And then he said, what is truth?
Yeah.
Crucify.
There you go. Anybody else want to take a jab at it? In order for something to need to be a fact, what do you have to provide me for in order for... Who said it? Evidence. So, say it again? So look, a fact is evidence-based. The fact is, right now, it's 9:19, right? I can prove that, right? A minute from now, will that still be a fact?
No.
So facts change. Even though you could prove it with evidence. Stay with me for a second. You could prove that I was a degenerate, low-life piece of shit criminal that will fucking rob you. You could prove all this stuff from my past. It's evidence-based. It is not truth, though, because it's no longer happening today. So are you allowing your facts, the things you did that make you think who you are, become your truth? Because then you're always going to be a motherfucking addict. You're always going to be a degenerate. You're always going to be a bad parent. If your facts, the things that you did in your life that you could prove with evidence, if you're making it your identity, then that's all you're ever going to be. Facts change. I am no longer a degenerate today. I am no longer a lowlife. I no longer rob from people. I no longer do the things I did in my active addiction. So therefore, our actions in active addiction is not definition of who we are as people. Our actions in active addiction is an explanation of who we could become when we do the shit that we do. Stop doing that shit and you'll stop being that person. Addiction is a behavior modification. I don't agree in drug treatment. I don't think you need treatment from the drugs.
Right.
I think we need to change our behaviors. So you get into drug treatment and you try to treat the drug use when the drug use is not your fucking problem. Your drug use is a symptom of the problem. If I go to the doctor, what does the doctor usually ask me?
Are you allergic?
Are you allergic to something?
What are your symptoms?
Usually asks you your symptoms. Say you tell the doctor one symptom. Say you tell the doctor, yo, doc, I got a runny nose. Is the doctor going to be able to treat you? No, because there could be a million things that's causing the runny nose. Right? So to think that the drugs is your only problem, that's like going to the doctor and telling him you got a runny nose. And only a runny nose. You're not telling him you got an earache. You're not telling him that your body aches. You're only telling him one symptom. Drugs are not the problem. They're the fucking solution. I go to the drugs to get me out of shit. To get me through shit. So therefore, if we don't know what's leading us to the drug, you're going to keep going to it. Or you might remove the drug and start shopping, or start gambling, or start eating, or whatever it is. You're going to substitute the dependency of the addiction. Drugs is what you're dependent on. We need to change our behavior. So what facts are you making your truth today? Because I will tell you a truth. We do recover. That is a truth. That is not just a fact. That doesn't change. Facts change. Truth never changes. It's truth. God's word never changes. God has never changed since the beginning of time. He's truth. It's something you could stand on. What is your truth going to be? What is something that you're going to stand on that does not change? Because if you're judging yourself based on your past, you're allowing your facts to dictate your definition of character. I am not an addict. Addiction is what I did. It's not fucking who I am. I did drugs. I wasn't drugs. I wasn't heroin. I wasn't crack. The definition of addict is someone who's addicted to a controlled substance. That's who you are today? You're addicted to a controlled substance. Definition of alcoholism. The continuous use of drinking. So you're an alcoholic too today? Or is it what you did? You making it your truth? Or you making it a fact that's going to change?
So how do you say that at a meeting then and not mean that?
I'm a recovered
Yeah,
alcoholic.
So look, I've never opened up the book of NA or AA. From what I speak from people in the program, there's nothing in their literature that states to identify yourself in the present tense
Okay.
of something you're not. Their literature says recovered.
Because I hear people
Alcoholic.
say I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Recovering alcohol. Listen, whatever you guys got to say, you say to help you. Because I only do this because of my faith.
Yeah.
And your blood ain't going to be on my hands. I'm telling you that right now. You guys could say whatever you want to say because I believe in Jesus Christ. Yeah. I have to say it because of my relationship with him, what I've seen in my life. He's real. He's more real than the drugs. He's more real than anything that's ever happened in my life. Death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those who love it eat the fruit therefore of it. The reason I want to get into this is because our lesson today is going to be about identity and how important it is for our identity. How important you think your identity is?
Depends on who you are.
He answered it. Different view, different you. How do you see yourself? So look, if I did this, identity is this. I am. That's your identity, whatever the I am is. But look what happens. Your I ams will create the I can, the I can't, the I will, and the I won't. Your I ams are creating that. Because I used to say I am an addict, I can only do certain things. I am a felon, so I can't get certain jobs. I am a bad parent. I won't get my kids back. I am a child of God. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Do you see what the I ams are doing?
Totally different mindset.
Totally different mindset. Because whatever you say you can do, guess what happens?
Figure a way to do it.
We do it. Whatever we say we can't do, guess what happens? We prove it. We prove it to ourselves. Everything you said you couldn't do, I bet you proved to yourself you couldn't do it by not doing it. Everything that we say we will do, we find a way. Right? Using the wake up the night before. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get it in the morning. Guess who got it in the morning? With no money, by the way, and in withdrawal. Going through withdrawal, body fucked up, right? On the floor, sick. What gets me up off that floor?
The thought. The thought.
The mind. What is the mind doing?
You're
Go-
better before you even get to know.
Anyone ever have that happen? Anyone ever feel like shit? Call the dope man. Dope man says 10 minutes and all of a
So
sudden
much better.
withdrawal's gone.
Yeah.
The mind tells the body what to do.
Many times.
Listen, when I was on the floor withdrawing, sick as fuck, what got me up off that floor wasn't my body because I was physically sick. What got me up off the floor was my mind. Yo, Mike, we gotta get up. We gotta make a move, bro. We don't wanna feel this way. That shit would get me up. So if you can't get out of your bed in the morning when your alarm clock goes off, it's not because your body can't, it's because your mind is telling you. Because if my mind can get me from withdrawal up and pull a scheme, your mind can get you out of your bed to get the shit done today. It's all up here. It's all up here. Your I ams are creating your I can, your I can't. So I want to know, this is because I'm more working backwards. I want to know what y'all telling yourselves you can't do and you won't do. Because whatever you're saying you can't do and you won't do is probably I am. It's probably your I am. So some quick life lessons, right? You have to be willing to go to war with yourself to create a whole new identity. You're going to have to go at war with yourself to create the new identity. New identity just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen, right? Where's the other one? Identity is something that you are constantly earning. Your identity is something that you're constantly earning. So we want to be in recovery. You got to constantly, listen, I don't know about y'all, I earned the title of addict. I earned the title of junkie. I earned the title of piece of shit. I earned the title of criminal. How? What did I have to do to earn that title?
By doing it.
By doing the things that that person does. Not acting like that person. Do we act like addicts or do we behave like addicts?
Yeah.
If we acted like addicts, would we have survived? No. That shit had to be 24/7, no? So are you acting like you're in recovery, just coming to these fucking meetings and sitting in here and going to the thing and getting a sponsor but doing it half-assed? Are you acting like you're in recovery? Or are you behaving like you are in recovery? Because acting will equal to pretending. Behaving will equal to becoming. We behaved like addicts. We did not act like addicts and alcoholics. We need to start behaving it. And to start behaving it, your identity. What is your identity going to be in recovery? It has to be more than just not using, man. That's all you want your fucking life to be? You want to be known as someone that no longer uses drugs? No. I mean, I meet people today, I don't even tell them until the end, by the way. You know why I do that? Because then they look at me and be like, oh, I never thought you were an addict. And I'm like, that's the fucking problem. You have a misconception of what you think we are. Why? Because a lot of us are still out here identifying who you need.
Just really quick.
Yeah.
If you look at somebody like Pilates, like turning upstairs and being able to join.
Okay? Thank you. So it's something we're constantly earning. TIME. You guys might have heard me use this before. Your identity is something that you're constantly earning. Things I must earn. That's what time stands for.
This, I would say.
This or things, same difference. I like your sway on it. Things I must earn. So, it might get conviction. You don't gotta say this shit out loud. But I always keep it a buck because I hold myself accountable. Are we trying to earn recovery? You trying to fucking get it? There's a difference between the two. Getting drugs, easy. Are you able to keep the drugs though after you get them?
No.
Just saying. After you get the drugs, can you keep them?
Well, they're not meant to be kept.
Why? Stay with me, and I like that answer. Why aren't they meant to be kept?
Because you're supposed to do them.
But why do we think we need to do them? What do you think I'm looking for? We need to be in a certain what?
Your mindset.
There you go. Mindset. Mindset. The mindset is to get it and not keep it. So we've been on that mindset for however long you've been in active addiction. 20 years. So 20 years for me, it was always about getting and not keeping. So no wonder all I ever want to do is to get the chip but not fucking keep the chip. Get the certificate. Not stay that way though. It was all about getting things. Recovery has nothing to do with getting it because you're going to get it. Recovery has everything to do with how the fuck you're going to keep it now. How you going to keep the job? Not get it. Who do you have to become to keep the job? Who are you going to have to become to stay in recovery? Give me some IMs. Give me some IMs that will help you stay in recovery. That will give you the I can and the I will instead of the I can and the I won't. What are some IMs?
Honest.
I am honest. Very good.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
Loyal.
I am accountable. I am respectable.
I'm loyal.
I am loyal.
The shit.
I am the shit. I like that one. But do you see how powerful words are? Death and life is in the power of the tongue. And those who love it eat the fruit therefore of it. Out of abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. Whatever you're thinking to yourself alone is going to start making it out your mouth. Or if you're in a relationship with somebody and you aren't being honest, you notice when the argument comes, it's fucking World War III, everything comes out because it's being harbored in the heart. Mm-hmm. You know what you're harboring in your heart right now.
We call it building the bud.
There you go. You know what you're harboring in your heart right now that's not good for you. It might be the I can'ts and the I won'ts. Because of the I am. Our behaviors are always changing. So, I am not my behavior, and you are not your behavior. Just because I'm a better person today does not mean I'm going to be this person the rest of my life. There's no guarantee that I could give somebody that I'm always going to be this person. Things are always changing. Your I am cannot change because of your behavior. Your I am has to be your identity. So look, anybody have a problem with idle time? I love when people say idle time's the devil's playground. That's fucking bullshit.
I don't have a problem with it, I just have a lot of it.
The only time we don't like being idle, not doing something, is because we are not comfortable with who we are as people.
All right.
Idle time is only the devil's playground when your I am is always leading to I can'ts and I won'ts. Jesus went up to the mountain to pray alone. Isolation and being alone. You guys think there's a difference between the two?
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Explain to me why you think there's a difference between the
You
two.
could be in a room full of people and still feel alone.
Okay?
Yeah.
Good?
You don't have to feel alone when you're isolating.
Robbie, you don't have to feel alone.
While you're isolating.
Okay. Okay, good.
I feel like alone is good and isolating is bad.
Tell me why.
Because I feel like isolating is like all the negative things.
Good.
About like, I feel like alone is like you're relaxing, you're by yourself, you're replenishing. I feel like the isolating is like depression.
Very good.
Anxiety.
I like that. So I'm on that tip. Isolation, I'm hiding myself from the world. Being alone, I'm removing myself from the world. Jesus went up to the mountain to pray to be alone with who?
God.
God. So when I'm alone, I'm not by myself. I'm with myself, with Him. You need to be able to be alone. You're going to have to find a way to be alone. Even if you're in a relationship, you're going to have to find a way to be alone. Because if you... Because... So...
Because it's a snake here.
All right, is it humanly possible to be active in something 24/7? Is it humanly possible to be able to speak to somebody 24/7? Who is the only person that you can guarantee you will know for the rest of your life?
Yourself.
Only yourself. So until the relationship with self is good, when you're alone, you're never going to look to be alone. So you might hang out with groups of people that you shouldn't be hanging out with. You might go do something that you didn't want to do. You might tolerate people in your life just because you don't want to be alone. Because I did that. I hung out with groups of people I didn't like just not to be alone. But hanging out with them was no good for me.
Yeah.
So if we don't know how to be alone with ourselves, the reason we don't know how to be alone is because of the I am. I am weak. I can't do this. So I am weak and I can't do this. I don't want to be by myself. Your identity is going to have to be in who you want to become, not in who you used to be. If your identity is in who you want to become, your mindset is forward. If your identity is who you used to be, your mindset is trying to change your past when you can't change your past. Your past is meant to be a history lesson. Don't learn from your past, and your past will tell you your fucking future. You don't need a fucking fortune teller. Anybody ever have their past repeat themselves, or their past continuously repeating themselves? So look in your past, and you can fucking figure out what's going to happen tomorrow if you don't do what you need to do today. All of the lessons and all of the blessings are in your past with the shit you've been through. And learning what we did to make it worse, learning what we didn't do to make it better. I'm never putting it on people no more. I can't. I just can't. The reason I can't is because things have happened to me that were fucked up, right? Both my parents died of AIDS from heroin use. 2 grandmothers, alcoholism, grandfather, heroin, uncle, heroin. I grew up in the life. I'm a kid of the streets in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did it all. I did it all. My identity was in that. So guess what? I am the child of a drug addict. I can't make something of myself, and I won't even fucking try. What is your I ams looking like? And there's a couple more, and then I'm going to put some things up there. So to be idle requires a strong sense of personal identity. In order to be able to be with yourself, you got to have a strong sense of identity. So, is your identity in what has happened in your life, or is in what's happened in your life going to create the identity of who you want to become? My mind, the only time it focuses on the past is to learn something, not to relive it, re-experience it. Does that sound different to you? Reliving compared to re-experiencing? Or does it sound the same? When I'm reliving something, if I'm reliving my past, what do you think I'm doing with it?
Grabbing the negative from
Self-pity.
it.
Say it again.
Grabbing the negative.
Grabbing the negative out of it. Good.
Self-pity.
Self-pity. Very good. Self-pity. 100%. I'm allowing whatever happened to me in the moment to be the same moment in the present. So, for instance, parents not showing up to my championship baseball game. Right? Everybody had their parents there. My parents were never at my games. I remember looking and not seeing them. So now if I relive that in the moment, I'm going to be sad, frustrated, angry in the moment. Re-experience it. It's understand I'm going to have the feelings, but now having compassion for my parents. How many things did I didn't show up for people that were waiting for me to show up? I re-experience it after I feel it. So I don't allow myself to stay in the past. I allow the past to what? Teach me something in the present. Are you allowing your past to teach, or your past is defining? There's a difference. We want to stay away from defining, because defining is giving you this. Your past defining who you are as a person, that's your I ams. Your past teaching you on how to become a better person will be your I ams. So, what is your identity in your failure? What's your identity in your failure? What is failure? What does failure tell you about yourself?
Time to change. Time to change.
Time to change, good.
I was going to say that I'm dumb, but I'm not sure.
No, a lot of people say that. I used to say that too. I'm glad you said that. Because if my failures teach me that I can't do it, so that's an I am. So now I can't do that, and I won't even try it. I'm going to stay closed-minded because it didn't work for me in the past, so it's not going to work for me now.
I won't fail again.
I think my addictions have made me feel like I don't give up, regardless.
Good.
So I need to take that into the positive
Yes.
part of my life.
It's a transferable skill, 100%.
Yeah, he said, right, failure's not an option.
But see, failure's going to happen. So that's what I'm
Different
saying.
levels now, though.
It's our perception and perspective and the I am from the failure that's going to change it, right? So fail, F-A-I-L. First attempt in learning.
I know how I fail now because
Because of your identity.
Now I keep my thoughts. I collect all my thoughts.
Okay.
I contain my thoughts. I know. I think about what I think about now. I know my worth because I'm sitting here, and that alone should be worthy to love myself.
There you
Every
go.
one of us. You're here in this room. You're worthy to be loved. Yourself.
Amen.
And you should realize that and start loving yourself and try to help others.
I mean, if you're in this room, you already love
yeah.
yourself. You just don't know
Everyone
it. You
in
might
here
not
is
feel it.
potential,
But if you're sitting in
outreach,
this room,
inspire a person.
thank you,
I
brother.
feel
Ain't
like,
that right?
Yes.
right now that you took time to the love part, I feel like it's hard for me to say that I love myself when I think of it as an action feeling, as an action word, because I don't eat the way that I should be eating. Like, I'm not eating healthy. You know what I mean?
In order for you to just say what you told me, you love yourself.
See, that's what I'm saying, but it's hard to, though, when I think about it as an
As a
action.
feeling.
Yeah, no, as an action to me, because...
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like I'm not acting right. Like, I'm not feeding my body the way that I should be feeding
Okay.
it. And I'm not giving it exercise the way that I should be.
So it's something I've learned, and maybe this will help you. The best version that I could ever be will still have flaws. There's no way for us to be perfect in things. But when the enemy, the devil, one of his main tricks is to attack our identity. Because if he could get me to see that I'm not doing enough, I'm going to give up on what I am doing. Right? So it's the action of loving yourself is the fact that you're just not giving up. Right? So look, our identity in failure. First attempt in learning. My identity in failure is that failure is the path to success. Failure is not the opposite of success. For instance, look at your active addiction. Anyone ever miss a vein?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you stop?
Nope.
Did you stop?
No.
You failed. You failed. But did you stop? Failure didn't stop you. What did that failure do? It teached you. I can't go there. I got to go here. Anybody ever get locked up for committing a crime?
Yep.
Did you stop committing crimes?
No.
You failed and you learned.
Did them better
We got better. But how did we get better at it?
by failing.
By finding people that also knew how to steal and rob and cut drugs and teach us.
Yeah, right.
Recovery is the same thing. When you fail, you have it teach you and you find someone to teach you. Just like an active addiction. So my identity in failure is that it's not the opposite of success. It's on the path to success. My definition of success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. The guy that started Starbucks, I use this all the time because it's probably the best way to describe it. He got said no 269 times for a bank loan before he got the first bank loan to open up the first Starbucks. Look what Starbucks is today. But he got told no 269 times before. So what that failure wasn't teaching him that he was doing it wrong. Failure was helping him get there. His success was that he didn't give up. His success wasn't the loan because he would have never got the loan if he gave up. So where's the success? The success is in the work. The loan was the reward. So your 30 days is not your success. Your 30 days is the reward that you get for doing the work for 30 days. Your 60-day coin is not your success. It's the reward for the work. The car that I drive is not my success. It's a reward because I go to work every day. My apartment is not my success. It's the reward. So your recovery needs to become the work, not the fucking reward.
Yep.
We want the reward. So we only feel good when we're getting the chip. We only feel good on payday. We only feel good on when we're getting things new because that's instant gratification. You see that our addiction lies so much further than the use of the drugs or the drink. It's a fucking program that we're operating on. It's not just the drugs that we're like that with. You'll find a song and love the song and listen to the song all fucking day long. That's impulsivity. That's going to lead to other areas of our lives. So that's why the I am is so important and our identity is so important. Because if you know who you are, once you start doing things that don't align with who you want to become, you will feel it and it should bring you back to focus. I know who I am today. Whether I have money or I don't have money. Whether I have an apartment or I'm living in a tent. I know who I am today. You can't take that away from me. I have to give you my identity. And one of the people ask you what led you to drug use. You know, everyone has their own thing. For me, it was the loss of that. It's the loss of my identity. My parents weren't present. So I seeked validation from the outside world. Your opinion of me mattered more than the opinion of myself. So the I am became whatever I thought you would like. And when that happened, I needed to manipulate and lie and become a different version for you and you and you and you and you. And in that moment, I remember looking in the mirror and not knowing who the fuck I'm looking at. Like, who the fuck, how did this happen? How did we get here? Instantly became at war with the person I seen in the mirror. Instantly. So now I'm walking throughout the day at war with myself. And you know where I found peace? With addiction. The drugs brought me peace. I don't know about y'all. Brought me peace in a chaotic world. But the world was chaotic because of the I am. I didn't know who I was. The drugs then gave me what? The drugs gave me my identity. That's who I became. So by manipulating, lying, and becoming a version I thought everyone else wanted, I didn't know who I was. So therefore, I was walking around a path of just feeling lost all the time, looking for things to make me feel better. Why? Because the drugs made me feel better. So now my mindset is if it makes me feel good, it is good. Not all glitter is gold. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Something feels good, you should take a step back and be like, you know what? Why do I like this so much? Or like if you're meeting someone, if you're falling in love with them within the first 5 minutes, that's fucking lust. That's not love. And I say that from my own life. That's why I'm not dating. I got too much lust in my heart when I look at women. I can't date women with this much lust in my heart. But I'm able to identify it. Why? Because I am a child of God. And I know that is not a characteristic of a child of God. So now I'm able to work on it. When you say certain things, I am, you won't work on it because you'll accept it based on the I am. I am an addict. So when you relapse, you give yourself, no, you know what, don't worry about it because that's who I am. When you do certain things, yeah, that's who I am. It is what it is. It's who I'm always going to be. So if that's who you're always going to be, that these are never going to change. I can is your passport to success. I can is a prison that you will always live in. You will never get out of that fucking cell if you say you can't do it. Why do you think you can't do this? Why? Because your identity is in your failure. That's why you think you can't do this. Because you failed at it before. So I am always going to fail at it. So, staying with it. Anybody, any I ams you want to share right now?
I am worthy.
I am worthy. What are some things you're telling yourself you can't do? Because whatever you're saying you're telling yourself you can't do, maybe if you change the I am, it'll turn into I can.
Good.
There you go. There you go. So the importance of identity provides a sense of self, allowing us to understand who we are. It guides our decisions and enables us to build relationships and contributing to our sense of belonging in communities. Essentially, it acts as the foundation for our lives and how we interact with the world around us. It acts as a foundation for our lives and how we interact with the world around us. So the I ams are very important. I'm going to write a couple on the board that I feel, for me, are the most important when it comes to living life. So, knowing who you are first, self-awareness. What does this mean, self-awareness, to you? You're aware of what?
Myself.
So,
Identity.
But depending on the I am is going to depend on what you're aware of. Understanding your identity helps you recognize strength, weakness, values, and beliefs. Starting to see how important the I am is? What are your weaknesses? Does anybody know what your weaknesses are?
Being lustful.
Very good. Angry, good.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure, very good. What are some weaknesses?
Oversensitive.
Good. So if you're not able to figure out the I am just yet, there's other ways to backdoor it. If you can first maybe figure out what you think your weaknesses are, you will now learn to say what you need to say is I am in order to be able to find the strength. What are your weaknesses? Because if you don't know your weaknesses, how are you going to get help? Knowing your weakness is not a weakness. Knowing your weakness is actually a strength.
I think my weaknesses are like mind-altering drugs. Like,
Yeah, 100%. So knowing your weakness, if you're going to build a team, which I highly recommend you build a team of people for your own life. This solo dolo shit, that's just for the streets, man. It ain't for recovery. The reason we need to know, for me, I need to know my weaknesses before my strengths. Why? Because I got this. I got a fucking ego. And because of my ego, I tend to think I'm a lot stronger in areas than I actually am. Your ego, though.
My ego is definitely my weakness as well.
Yeah. Your ego, though, will not allow you to really want to see those. Why do you think the ego doesn't want to see weakness?
you know, I see the
Very good. Great answer. The ego is pride. Pride is I'm the best. You gotta change in order for me to change. I ain't doing nothing wrong. Maybe if you change the way you speak to me, I'll change the way I speak to you. Maybe if you do something for me, I'll do something for you. The ego does not like to suffer. One of the promises of God is that we are promised this. There's no way of getting around suffering. The reason being is the only way to kill the ego is to suffer. It's the only way to kill it. So when we have these things, feelings, you notice an act of addiction when we got these that we didn't like, homie took over. Homie took over. And then what happened when we got feelings that we didn't like because we didn't want to suffer and see that we're really the problem? What did the ego then lead us to do?
Stuff.
See how it's the fucking solution? See how we go to this for help? This is actually considered one of our strengths when our identity is in our ego. It's not a weakness for us. We get more done on this, don't we? I bet you might be going through your day right now tired. Fuck, man, I wish I could just get hit. I go get this shit done. You know, or just calm down for a little bit. I'll be a little more creative if I smoke some of this weed right now. This is our solution. So we need to know what leads us to this in order to keep this out of our lives. And what usually leads us to it is this. Feelings. So what feelings lead you to this? Because if you can figure out what feelings lead you to that, you just found your weaknesses.
So like financial insecurity.
He just said it. Money.
I know it is.
Yeah.
So now that you know that's a weakness, look how this works. Now that you know that's a weakness, you need to find somebody who's strong in that area to teach you. Because you ain't going to figure it out on your own. Just like I can't figure out shit on my own. I need someone to teach me. Everything that we know, we were taught. Whether it's TikTok, the fucking TV, watching. I learn more from people watching than anything. More, I love going to the airport a couple hours early. That shit's fucking entertainment. I put music on. I haven't watched television in 2.5 years. You don't need television. You got fucking human beings, man.
Yeah.
You know that this is real reality TV,
Right.
not that fucking orchestrated shit.
It's best not even if I got in the car with you, I don't want to listen to music.
I don't
I
even.
won't
If anyone
even
rolls
talk.
with me, you know the music ain't going on. We talking. We talking in the car. If I got 6 people in the car, what the fuck we hearing music for? You got jewels and treasure inside of you, God says. I'm gonna dig that shit out just like I stole the money out your pocket.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
You won't believe how you can help yourself and the people with you.
Iron sharpens iron. Sometimes you hear somebody say something and you're able to say, oh shit, me too, man.
Yeah.
But before that, you thought you were the only one. Until you heard somebody say something and you could say, me too. That's why the rooms work so well. You'll get to hear people going through some shit that you think you're the only one going through it.
That's when they tell you about it.
Yeah.
When you're in the car with them.
So self-awareness is the first thing with our identity, right? We got to know our strengths. For me, I know my weaknesses better than my strengths. So early on in recovery, I changed my mindset towards the approach. And since I know Mike in this, Mike in addiction, I got 20 years of that guy. Mike in recovery, how do you know who you need to be in recovery when you're just starting to walk? That's difficult. So I changed the mindset. My recovery isn't about me learning how to be this Mike. My recovery is me being conscious of this Mike and not allowing that Mike to come back. Because the more I'm conscious of not allowing this Mike to come back, this Mike gets developed on its own.
Amen. I'm glad I met the recovering Mike. 'Cause I know that other Mike.
Oh, you don't want, listen,
He
you don't
would've got
want,
me,
you don't
bro.
want, you don't want to know the other Mike. I'm telling you that right now. So,
I mean, you're not very fat, but how can you endure the cold back here?
Drugs, brother. Them just make you warm as a motherfucker, right? So look. What are some values? What are some values that can help with the I am? What are some values that can help with the I am? What is a value?
Value?
A value, not a volume. A value. If something has value, what do you see in it?
Worth.
You see worth.
Well,
What are some things that will give you worth? I am what? What are some things that will give you worth?
Esteemable acts.
Esteemable acts, very good. What else?
just helping others reach to you.
Okay?
Doing,
When
inspiring
I
others.
say values, these are things that we want to become. Family orientated, compassionate, loyal, punctual, organized, time management skills. These are values. These are the things that we should be striving to become, not success. Someone said money. If anyone reads the Bible, it's very specific what the root of all evil is.
The love of it.
The love of money, not the
Not
devil.
money.
Devil ain't the root of all evil. Not even close. The devil's the devil's an angelic being. He can only do what God allows him to do. God ain't gonna let him take your life. He did it with Job. Take everything but leave his life. What did the devil do? He obeyed God's command. So what does that tell me? The devil does not really have any kind of control. It's the root. So how are you looking to make money? You still looking to pull schemes? You still doing that, the boosting with the fucking cards? You still trying to make a quick fucking buck just to have money in your pocket? Keep doing it. Just curious. Look at your past, though. When you were trying to make money the way you might be making money right now, how did it turn out for you?
Did I get to keep any of that shit?
Never.
No. You know why we don't keep it? Because it was never meant to keep it. It was just meant to get it. Active addiction is about getting, not keeping. That's why when I got the job and lost it, I didn't give a fuck because I didn't want to keep it. I just got the job because I wanted to make money. When I got the girl and she found out I was bullshitting, I didn't give a fuck because I just wanted to fuck her anyway.
Yeah.
It was never about keeping anything in active addiction. It was about getting it. Recovery has to be how are you going to keep it? Because you're going to get it. We've all gotten some of the shit back at times. Good opportunities, car, money, apartment, loved ones in our lives, and then we lost it again. So you're going to get it back. This time around, how are you going to keep it? And how we're going to keep it is going to be determined on our identity. Who do you think you are and who are you trying to become? Rather than who you are based on what you did. Because what defines you today is not yesterday. What defines you today is what you do today. So if yesterday was a fucked up day, but you're doing better about it today, to me, you're becoming a better person. If shit happened yesterday and you're doing nothing about it today, then yeah, yesterday is defining who you are today. How much of yesterday are you bringing into today? And what parts of yesterday are you bringing in today? Because if you had, let's say there's 20 people in the room. 19 said you're doing great in your recovery. And then there's one that says that you're not. Which one are you focusing on?
Of course, the not.
Some were on the 19, some were on the not. That just shows you where you are. Depending on how you just honestly answered that question in your head, shows where you are. It shows you who you think you are, your identity. If out of 20 people, 19 said I'm doing good, I'm going with the 19 because I know who I am today. If one says I'm not,
the 19 good.
no, I used to not. What do you got?
I didn't like constructive criticism
Okay.
before I became changed. And then I didn't want it. And then I said I need it.
Why do you think we're not good at taking constructive criticism?
And addiction is the thing. You don't want to hear it.
Yes, who said it? The way you look at yourself.
Yeah.
The I am is what's allowing you to be able to be told what to do and how to do it or not. Your I am. What's this word?
Humble. That's what it takes. Be humble.
So what is humility going to look like? How could you practice humility? For me, I got to admit when I'm wrong, and I got to ask for help. Yeah. If I'm not admitting I'm wrong, and I'm not asking for help, God has it coming for me. I'm telling you right
You won't never know
now.
God until you do that.
Yes, this is true
You
too.
won't know God until you humble yourself before God and ask for His help.
That's what the fear of God is. The fear of God is knowing I better stay humble, otherwise He's gonna humble me.
Yeah.
I had a mentor that said you're either humbled or you're on the road to being humbled. You choose. That's some real shit right there. So if you are humble, your identity, right? Your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, and your beliefs will correlate with being humble. If you're prideful, it's going to follow the same suit. This is what I'm trying to say. I am stupid. Understand, the brain doesn't register jokes, doesn't know how. The brain is kind of like, at times, binary, like ones and zeros. When you say I am stupid, whether you say it in a joking manner or not, you're not fucking joking when you say that. You believe it. Even though you might be saying it as a joke, you believe it. So since you believe it, your brain now registers that as an I am, not as a joke. The brain doesn't even know how to register the negative, by the way. The brain, when you tell it not to do something, it thinks about doing it.
All the time.
Watch. I do it all the time. Do not think about pink elephants right now.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about? Because I told you not to. So what do you think you're thinking about when all day long you're telling yourself not to do drugs?
Drugs.
Or you're telling yourself not to do certain behaviors. You're thinking about doing the behavior. So instead of telling yourself not to do something, why don't you tell yourself what you need to do?
Yeah.
I need to go hit a meeting. I need to go call my sponsor. I need to go for a walk. I need to do this. Tell yourself what you need to do rather than what you're not supposed to be doing. Because if you don't feel you have the strength to not do it, you're going to give into it. So I don't tell people, I don't even tell kids not to do drugs. And I speak to colleges down in elementary school all across the United States. And that's the first thing I tell them. Yo, I ain't here to tell you not to do drugs, because you and I both know it's fucking bullshit. What I am here to tell you, though, is how you deal with these.
That's good that you're talking about that finally.
Because that's what leads us to it. It's this. This is our biggest fucking problem. We don't want to feel them. Or we attach a feeling to something, right? So failure, if you ask people how it feels, a lot of people are like, yo, that shit sucks, right? So if you in your mind has it that failure sucks, how many things you're going to do that you could possibly fail at? Not many. You're only going to walk into things that you could do without trying, the bare minimum. You're going to want treatment to feel good and be easy rather than be difficult.
I'm starting to learn that failure is just like a stepping stone.
That's
I
it.
gotta get to it, or I'm not gonna get further.
If I told you you were 1,000 no's away from getting everything you've ever wanted, how quickly you want to hear them 1,000 no's? Shit, I want to hear them all right now.
Yeah.
But a no is considered failure. See how the mindset towards something will change the way it is? So, values and beliefs are going to be very important. Your identity has to align with your values and your beliefs. So who you want to become has to align in your values. Honesty, trustworthy, punctual, and your beliefs. Whatever gods you choose. We form beliefs by repeating thoughts. What I mean is, the more I repeated to myself that I was a lowlife, I started to believe that I was a lowlife. Lies. Anyone ever manipulate in here?
Yeah.
Anyone, for me, maybe just me. Can anyone like go back in the past and not know what was the truth and what was a lie?
Yes.
Because of why?
You believe it yourself.
Because we started to believe our lies. But
Yeah.
why did you think we started to believe our lies? Because we kept repeating them.
Yeah.
Positive affirmations. You do not believe them when you first start doing it. You look in the mirror, I am beautiful, I am strong. It's a fucking lie. We're lying to ourselves. We don't believe it. But what happens the more and more you repeat that positive affirmation every day? You start to believe it. So beliefs are thoughts that you keep repeating. So if you could find thoughts throughout the day that you keep repeating to yourself, you're developing a belief system based on that. So if you keep telling yourself that you're tired all day long, you believe that you're tired and then you become tired.
You're tired, yeah.
When I was a little kid and I wanted to get out of school, I used to pretend I was sick. And then actually fucking get sick. Has that happened
I
anywhere?
remember that.
They do it here.
It's because we were playing the role and we had to play the role, so then we started to believe the role, and then the role became life.
That's crazy.
Self-talk is the program that you are installing into your computer, which is the brain. Whatever program you're operating on is based on your self-talk. Something happens to me, I'm having a conversation with it in my head. That's self-talk. So if something happens to me that I don't like and I have a negative conversation with it in my head, I am now creating a negative feeling that I feel. Feelings are not being given to us, we're creating them. We are creating the feelings that we are feeling determined on the conversation we are having with whatever's happening. So let's say one of the staff members said you can't do something and it got you upset and you walk out of the room, that motherfucker, what feeling are you having?
Anger.
We are creating. So now let's say you and I have a good conversation and you walk away, what kind of feelings are you going to have? Maybe inspiration? Maybe motivation. Conversation with what's going on around you is creating the reality and that you're living it.
Yeah.
I'm on the same planet I was in the 20 years of active addiction. Same shit happening to me basically since the 20 years of active addiction. But I'm not reacting the same. What changed?
Different mindset,
That's it.
different people around you.
Different mindset. The way I'm communicating with things are different. So, the second one is decision making. A strong sense of self allows you to make choices aligned with values and beliefs. So a mentally strong person is going to act according to their values. So if you say you want to be an honest person, when it comes time to lying to somebody, you can't lie. You can't lie. Because if you lie, you're not acting according to your values. And if you're not acting according to your values, you're not going to become it. Behavior. A strong sense of self allows you to make choices aligned with your values and your goals. Social connection. Identity allows us to connect with others who share similar experiences. Misery loves what?
Company.
We're identifying that we're miserable. We're identifying as these things. I am this. So now you are finding people who also have the I am like that. Look at people in recovery. People in recovery get with people in recovery to stay in recovery. People in active addiction ain't hanging out with people in recovery. People in active addiction are hanging out with people in active addiction. You know how easy it is for us to find someone who's getting high when we're looking for drugs?
So easy.
I can still tell them, and I haven't used in 3 years. I can know who's high and who's not in a quick second. Social connection allows us to connect with others. So if you are saying that you are not worthy, you are not going to want to be around people that are living a better life. If you are saying that you cannot succeed, people who are succeeding, you're going to think they're fake, and you're going to talk shit about them. I know this because I was it. I know this because I was it. Identity allows us to connect with others who share similar experiences, values, and backgrounds, fostering a sense of belonging and community. If you don't find a community of people, it doesn't have to be AA, NA, Jesus, it doesn't have to be any of that. But you got to find a group of people, a community, man. Your family is good. But your family didn't walk the way you walked your life. You might have to find people who kind of walked it the way you walked it. You're going to need different avenues. You're going to need different avenues on this. It can't just be one way. You're not going to be able to do it just one way. Too many things happen in our lives. You might not have kids now, but you might a year from now. You might not be working a job right now. You might be working one a year from now. You might have family in your life. Someone might die a year from now. Life is always changing. So therefore, recovery is always going to have more than just one avenue. Depending on the God that you believe in, that God could be your one avenue, depending on which one you go with. If you go with a God of your understanding, I'm not taking that away from anybody. But just hear me for a second. If you have a God of your understanding, how could it be God then? If you could understand God, then that makes you God. I can't understand God. I'm on a need-to-know basis with God. He lets me know what I need to know. A God of our understanding, do you know what we're basing life on? Our own experiences. And you know what then we're basing our life on? Define God. Define who you want to be. Define it. What I mean is get specific. When people tell me I want to live a better life, I'm like, oh, you got to fucking do better than that, bro. All right, I want recovery. Nah, you got to fucking do better than that, bro. I don't even know what the fuck that means. How specific are you with your recovery? Is it I want a better life or I want my kids back? Because if you say I want my kids back, you see how specific things start to get? Now you know what your next move is. Oh, I need to start doing this, I need to start doing that to get my kids back. Want to become a better person is too abstract. You probably don't even know where the fuck to start. You're probably procrastinating because you probably got 18 million things on the fucking table that you have to do.
What if you don't know?
You don't know why.
I mean, what would you say?
So good, I got it. Good question. So you don't know. Tell me what you don't want.
I don't want my old life.
So you just told me what you do want. You no longer want that life. So start working and keeping that life out of your life and watch what happens. A lot of times people don't know what they want. And I'm with you. But if I ask you what you don't want, you'll give me a fucking list in 2 seconds. By telling yourself what you don't want, you're telling yourself what you do want. I don't want to be miserable no more. All right, cool. What do I got to start doing to not be miserable? I don't want to be broke no more. Cool. I better start getting myself qualified for a job. You don't know what you want out of life? Good. Leave it unknown. But I do know that you know what you don't want out of life. So you working on the least keeping that out of your life? Because if you take out of your life what you don't want, it opens up areas for God to give you the desires of your heart. The Bible says, delight yourself in the Lord and He will give you the desires of your heart, not your flesh. A lot of things we're not getting them because they'll fucking destroy us.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not getting the job because you ain't ready to work yet. Maybe you're not finding a relationship because you don't even know how to be in a relationship with yourself. Maybe you're not getting the apartment yet because you're not even fucking making your bed in sober living yet. I'm just saying. I'm saying this because of my own experience. I'm not putting it on anybody. What I realized was I wasn't getting the things I truly wanted for 2 reasons. 1, I didn't have the habits to produce it. Or 2, it would fucking destroy me. You don't get what you want. Please don't let someone fucking sell you that fucking bullshit dream. Just want it and you'll get it. No fucking way. I wanted to live this way for the 20 years I was in my active addiction. You don't get what you want. You get what your habits produce. Yep. You want to own your own business? Develop the habits of a business owner before you get the fucking business. You want to live a better life? Develop the habits of someone who can live a better life before you start determining what the better life needs to look like. The habits. What habits do you need to produce to stay in recovery? And start practicing those habits and watch what happens to your life. I'm not focused on the future. I want tomorrow to stay unknown. If you're able to know what tomorrow is, you just limit it. What's the point? The fact that something's unknown, does that scare anybody?
Terrified.
It's terrified. Good. It used to terrify me too. You know why the unknown terrifies us? Because our mind thinks it could be worse.
Yeah.
Our mind never thinks, you know what, it could fucking get better though.
It's always thinking the worst.
Always thinking the worst. The unknown means anything is possible. Anything.
That's my biggest struggle.
Might hit the lottery.
Jesus,
What do you think limits us? What do you think limits us more?
So stupid.
What do you think limits us more? Knowing something or not knowing something?
Not knowing.
I think no.
What was the
I
question?
like not.
Hold on, because I'm always gonna mind fuck y'all. I want to fuck with y'all minds, right? I'm a master manipulator. I just don't manipulate no more, right? Right? It's influence now. What do you think stops us? What we know or what we don't know?
What we know.
No.
I think
Okay.
I think what we know.
Okay.
No.
I agree. It's what I feel it's what we know that stops us. Just because you tried something and it didn't work out, you think you know it, so now you're not fucking doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever we don't know, you could always learn.
Yep.
You could always learn what you don't know. I stop thinking when I think I know something. The more I think I know, the less I think.
Right.
I know how that's going to turn out. I don't need to think about it no more. So it's not what we don't know that stops us. It's whatever you think you do know. Like, for instance, you're I am. That's what you think you know. Is the I am limiting you? Or is the I am going to have you succeed?
Succeed.
So whatever you don't know, if you learn it, you'll know it. Whatever you think you do know, a lot of times success is very dangerous, y'all. Success makes us feel like we did something right. So we stop doing it. Or practicing it. Oh, I got that. I succeeded at that already. Let me do the next thing now. So we stop practicing that because we're successful. Believe it or not, failure is probably the best place to be. My success lies in this. My success doesn't lie in the reward. In order for someone to be a champion, they usually get like a trophy or a ring or whatever, right? That lets you know that they won the championship. But the ring isn't making them a champion. This is what made them a champion.
Now you get one showing up.
And then, yeah, we'll close it with this. This is what makes them a champion.
Practice.
Practice made them a champion. Kobe Bryant, homie was the first one in the gym and the last one to leave. That's what made Kobe Bryant Kobe Bryant. The way he practiced more than the way he because just doing this without this, you don't become a champion. This is talent. So with talent, you could win a game. With talent, you probably gotten 3 months before, 6 months before, a year before, just on talent.
3 years. Yeah.
Teamwork wins championships, though. Kobe not winning a championship without the role players, the people around him. So
Get that 81 points.
So do you want to be the best scorer on the worst team in the league? Or do you want to be on the team that wins the championship? A lot of us, if you're like me, want to be the best scorer on the worst team. I'm going to do this shit myself. Talent wins games, championship wins championships. I mean, talent wins games, teamwork wins championships. Charisma gets you in the room. We all got charisma. We could all get ourselves in a good fucking opportunity. Character keeps you in the room. If you ain't got no character, we lose those opportunities. Eventually, they catch on to who we are as people. Ever have that happen?
Yep.
Bullshit your way into a Gucci fucking situation and not be able to stay in the situation because you weren't practicing the habits of that person. You were just acting like that person. The unknown means anything is possible. So stop being afraid of the unknown and just start learning from what is known, which is your past. Greatest teacher you will ever have is the past you. Not someone like me to come in. No. I can never teach you about you better than the past you can teach you about you. What you're chasing, what you shouldn't chase, what you find happiness in, what you're running from. Nobody can teach you better about you than this version of you. So we got to get right with the past. We got to start loving that person, talking to that person differently, having compassion for that person, understanding like, you know what? It's not a free pass, but you know what? I did have this shit happening, and I did take it this way, and I did make this stupid choice, and I could have did this to do it better. So you know what? Let me start doing this to make it better. That's all it is. Life's a lesson. Once you stop learning, it's gonna teach you something you don't want to fucking learn. I'm telling you that right now. All right. So you guys got a break. I'll see y'all like 10. We got 2. So come back 10:45.
I like how you said could instead of should.